going on, Jerome's? So it's a beautiful Tuesday morning. It's time for another Vikings news dump. But up at the top, we got to pay homage to Caitlin Clark. I mean, destroyed. Absolutely destroying the friggin' GOAT of women's college basketball. Soon to be WNBA, soon to be the Big Three, soon to be whatever. But it really was ridiculous. I mean, LSU, loaded team, but it's finally nice to see Iowa get a little bit of offense that Brian Ferentz can't ruin. It's good times, man. Also, if Caitlin Clark keeps working, she could be the next Rachel Banham. No big deal. But a big deal is it is April. It is draft month, and we are doing our annual draft food shelf fundraiser. This time around, we're working with Every Meal right here in the great Twin Cities. Details, all Venmo, Super Chats, Cash Apps this month will be donated to Twin Cities food shelves. Links will be in the bio, or you can donate direct to Every Meal. If you do that, shoot me an email. We'll give you some DAP. So our goal is $2,200 for the month, and we are going to be doing weekly live streams, at least one a week, maybe two. Who knows? I did one last night. Go check that one out. Also, we're going to stream day 2 of the draft for sure. Maybe parts of day 1, depending on what happens. I mean, with Vikings trade up, I don't know. I don't know, man. But 2,200 is the number because that is the amount for 3 years of food for 2 children. And Every Meal does a great job because a lot of kids, they get most of their food from school, but weekends and summer can get a little bit dicey, and Every Meal fills in the gaps. So cause that's near and dear to my heart, and we're working with Every Meal for this year. So you guys are the best. You know what to do. You're fantastic. Also fantastic is JJ McCarthy. And hey, if they deem that JJ McCarthy is the guy, I'm in. Even though he's got that stupid broccoli haircut that all the dudes have nowadays, he probably says that the Vikings are bussin'. Now I understand why the old people didn't like me when I was a kid. Because I don't like any young people. That's it, man. But Purple Persuasion put this together. Alec Lewis filling in for the PA Big Chair on KFan 9 to noon. Per Alec Lewis, he recently reached out to an AFC executive regarding some of the steam around JJ McCarthy being drafted at picks number 2 or 3 if it's immediate creation. Here's what the AFC executive said, quote, "I've talked to a lot of scouts, Alec, and I think a lot of that, him being picked that high, is probably expletive deleted, but media creation." So, a lot of people compare JJ McCarthy to Will Levis last year, where he was hyped as one of the big 4 quarterbacks with Young, Stroud, and Richardson, and then obviously he took a draft day tumble into the second round. The Vikings could have took him at 23, but they took Jordan Addison. Worked out kind of okay. But I know that Alec Lewis has this. I know that there's been anonymous sources before. I know that Greg Cosell, guru of the film, has come out and said that he hasn't heard anything, but I think it is legit. And also, all it takes is one team. And I don't think that Sean Payton openly pumping up McCarthy, or Antonio Pierce of the Raiders just openly really hyping up JJ McCarthy. I don't think that's immediate creation. And also, I don't think that's BS necessarily, right? Also, I mean, you discount everything that Harbaugh says about McCarthy, but I think that it is absolutely legit. And also, it'd be one thing if there's just a couple rogue draft analysts, really in on McCarthy, but the fact that several of the high-profile guys are, whether it's Bucky Brooks or Thor Nystrom or Jordan Reed or Malik Kaipa Jr. or DJ, I mean, I do believe that the hype is real around McCarthy. And speaking of McCarthy going high, so the whole buzz around the Patriots fan base right now is them potentially taking JJ McCarthy at 3. This from WEEI, basically the KFan of Baston. De facto GM Elliot Wolf reportedly pushing hard for Patriots to draft a quarterback JJ McCarthy at pick number 3. Now, this could be legit, or this could be obvious BS, which at this time of year, you never really know. And also, there's BS on the BS, and there's pushback on the pushback, and there's smokescreen on the smokescreen, which makes this time of year fun. But, I mean, is this all the reports for the Vikings or the Broncos or the Raiders or the Giants to up their bid to trade up to 3? It's like, hey, if you really want JJ McCarthy, you better go up to 3. Who knows, man? But honestly, JJ McCarthy is the true wild card of this draft, where all it takes is one team. All it takes is one team to be in on this bussin' broccoli head. And whatever it is, whether it's the Commies at 2, which would be the ultimate wild card, or the Patriots at 3, or a team trading up for McCarthy, once he's off the board, that changes the complexion of the first round, because there could be teams that are all in on Jaden Daniels, there could be teams that are all in on Drake Maye, and if they're still available after McCarthy goes off the board, that really F's things up, because I mean, the standard default setting right now is Williams, Maye Daniels, and then McCarthy, right? But if McCarthy jumps up in one of those rungs, could get nuts. Certainly get nuts. And also, the smokescreen on smokescreen, I'm just waiting for is like, oh, could the Bears be in on JJ McCarthy at 1? He is an Illinois guy. Give it time. Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen. Speaking of giving it time, so Cam Beezy busts out last year and really grown and shown in the Flores scheme, becoming one of the best safeties on the team and also one of the best safeties in the league. Cameron Bynum last year led the team in tackles with 137, as well as solo tackles 94, plus had 2 picks, 9 passes broken up, and 3 forced fumbles, which is good. The Philippines represent life is a movie. Speaking of a movie, so Beezy could produce a couple of films because Tom Pelissero go, blah, 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 blah. So performance-based pay distribution for the 2023 season, and Cam Beezy brought in just over $785,000. Now, what it is, it's players on the rookie deals that outperform their slotted wages, and there's a pool of, what was it, like almost like 300 million of money distributed to players on those lower contracts to reward for playing time, to reward for stats and whatnot. So Beezy getting an extra $750,000, which is fantastic. And Beezy also is entering a contract year, so he's looking to get paid as well. And maybe it's a spot where the Vikings need to be proactive and sign Beezy up before he has the monster season. Now, don't get me wrong, last year was great, but it's like when the Vikings signed Metellus to that 2-year, $6 million extension right quick before Metellus had a larger role last year. And with Beezy, I mean, with Harrison getting dialed back on his snaps, I'm sure that Bynum could have a larger role even further in 2024. But either way, keep him locked up in purple. He's a good dude. He's fantastic on the field. He's great in the community. Love his story. Life is indeed a movie. Not bad for a outside corner from Cal who got switched. Next up, so we've been saying for a long time that the Vikings are the best spot for a rookie quarterback in the league in this draft. And frankly, whoever it is, Maye, Daniels, McCarthy, Penix, Nix, Rattler, whoever ends up here is in a fantastic spot. Jordan Reed, ESPN, our guy, and a lot of analysts are coming around to this conclusion. This is what Jordan said. We talk a lot about surroundings with young quarterbacks. I can't think of a better situation in recent draft history for a first-round quarterback to enter than Minnesota. Star wide receiver 1, promising wide receiver 2. How dare he call JJ a promising wide receiver 2? And a good tight end. One of the best offensive tackle duos in the league in Darrisaw and O'Neal. A creative play caller. Plus, there's a whole lot more. So $100+ million in cap space in 2025, so you can build a team. The fact that you're indoors certainly benefits the quarterback, as well as Aaron Jones helping suture up the running game, as well as Sam Darnold ahead of you as a bridge quarterback, so there's no pressure to come in and be the Messiah right away. Josh McCown is regarded as one of the best quarterback coaches in the league, even though don't hold Carolina against him. Also, Flores is building a monster on that side. You have stable ownership. Seems like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, I mean, they're betting their jobs on you, but if they get that right, I think that they will have some job security a long time. So I think that it's perfect. And it's almost like Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell had this thing planned out. Crazy. Who knows? And also, like we've been saying, for all the reasons why it's great for a rookie, it's also going to be great for Sam Darnold. I think the Vikings are sneaky in a fantastic spot next year. Also sneaky is Drake Maye. Well, nothing sneaky about him. But so Drake Maye, a lot of people have been picking him apart. It's like, oh, he's inconsistent with the footwork. Oh, he does take chances. Oh, he does press the issue. Yes, it is true about all that. But Drake Maye attacking downfield, he's got the huevos to make the throw, and he can sling it. So PFF College putting this out. Highest passing grade on 20-plus yard throws since 2022. Drake Maye, North Carolina, 99.0. That's out of 100, which is good. 2 notebooks in one video. But, I mean, Drake Maye, that's the thing, too. It's like McCarthy may be the safer pick, And may have a higher floor, and may bust. Same thing with Caleb Williams. I think that they are truly boom or bust prospects, but I think that in terms of ceiling, I think it's unlimited with Williams. I think it's unlimited with Drake Maye. And it's sort of like cornerbacks. Like, so when a corner is coming into the league, sometimes they can be too feisty, too aggressive, too grabby, and you have to dial that back. But sometimes corners come into the league too passive, and you have to try and ramp up the aggression. It's really tough to do. And it's a lot like quarterbacks where, I mean, quarterbacks who take chances downfield and try to make it up as they go and play jazz and not focus on the sheet music and just don't let a play die. It's like, I got this. We can figure this out. F it. My wide receiver one is down there somewhere. Yeah, they make mistakes. But sometimes they make plays that just make you just like, oh. All right. So, yeah, Spider 2, Y banana. You don't go broke taking a profit, hitting the tight end out in the flat or the fullback out in the flat. But also, I mean, that backside bang 8, no one's ever expecting it. Sometimes you got to take chances, man. But I feel like you can dial back a quarterback who is too careless and takes too many chances. But one who plays it too safe, I feel like it's really hard to get to that next level, right? So I am in Drake Maye. And someone who isn't in on Drake Maye is Chris Sims, which makes me like Drake Maye even more. Sims put this out. Thought that the Michael Penix Jr. and Drake Maye pro days last Thursday, both on the same day, really showed the contrast in the quarterbacks. Penix is a machine, throwing it over and over. Maye loses control of his throws more than any of the top quarterbacks in consideration. Penix is being underrated. He should be a top 20 pick. But, I mean, the reasons why Penix isn't in the running at the top of the draft. I mean, so Sims prides himself that he only watches the film, and that's how he does his rankings for positions, which I understand that, but I mean, there's a lot of intangibles with Penix, which is hurting his draft status. Number one, his age. Number two, his injury history, and that has to factor in. And even though, as we said, I'd be willing to take the risk with Penix if the Vikings can't trade up into the top 5 because he has been healthy the last 2 years at Washington. And also he performed extremely well at his pro day running and jumping on his 2 reconstructed ACLs. Well, 2 on 1 knee, as well as, I mean, the shoulder obviously looks pretty damn good. But I do understand the concerns with Penix. And with Maye, I mean, Maye does have some footwork cleaning up to do, but players are allowed to get better as they come into the league. It's crazy, especially if they're able to sit for a year, especially if they get NFL level coaching, especially if they get a couple of years sitting and watching and learning, right? So I hate to give this jabroni credit, but you look at Aaron Rodgers, right? When he came to the league out of Cal, he had poor footwork. He had this funky, like 3/4 release, and he sat behind Bert Favre for a number of seasons. But once he was ready to go, he was ready to go. All right, so just because Drake Maye isn't the genuine article right now doesn't mean that he can't get better. I mean, the kid is a true junior. He's 21. He certainly has a bright future ahead of him, right? But also, if Drake Maye goes to a spot, say like the Patriots or maybe Washington, where he has to start right away and maybe doesn't have the best supporting cast, or with Washington and Patriots, you do have a defensive-minded head coach. So if your OC is worth any salt at all, he's going to get a head coaching job. So there's going to be turnover there, and that is not good for a young quarterback. So there's a big difference. I mean, Drake Maye with the Vikings, where he can sit and learn, and he won't touch the field until he's ready, and have a great supporting cast, versus a team where maybe the talent isn't up to snuff with a defensive-minded head coach, and there could be OC turnover. I wonder which one I'm going to bet on. But either way, I mean, Sims not liking Maye makes me like him more. That's all. That's all, man. I mean, remember, Sims was the one who liked Kellen Mond a lot in 2021. But other than that, no. Next, the Vikings are putting in the work. So Ed Ingram and Jaquelin Roy on the gram, putting out some good vibes. So Jaquelin in the foreground in the tan hoodie, Ed Ingram in the background, as well as offensive lineman Tyrese Robinson, plus Andre Carter II putting in work too. So TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill is going to work out. Plus, all these guys are hungry, champing at the bit. And Ed, yes, started over the last 2 years, but hopefully he makes a big-time leap in year 3. The Vikings interior offensive line needs it. Jaquelin didn't do a lot as a rookie. Would love to see him grow and show in year 2. Tyrese Robinson, was a practice squad guy, signed to a futures contract. I will take offensive line depth anywhere you can get it, as well as Andre Carr II. AC2 is a bit of a wild card as well, where he was the other highly hyped up UDFA from last year. Sort of got some scattered work in there, but one of the reasons why he fell in the draft he was seen as a potential late first round pick before the start of 2 years ago in terms of his senior season in college football, but had some injuries, didn't have the production that he had when he was a junior. We had 9 sacks. I think as a senior, all of his sacks came in one game, but also being a cadet at Army, like he wasn't necessarily allowed to grow into a football body, but now it's going to take some time. Glad to see he's putting in that work. Going to put in some good weight. Going to get some good NFL technique, and I think that he could be a factor on the edge. Like, he's very toolsy, and I think that the Vikings certainly could get after him. Plus, like, he doesn't have to be the guy. Like, he could be a rotational dude getting 10, 12, 15 snaps a game in passing situations as like, hey, AC2, go get the QB. Go get it, man. I love it. So there you go. Good to see that TCO Performance Center is getting into work. Also getting in work is Target Field. So Twins home opener is on Thursday. We'll be there. If you're around, say what's up. Hey, now Lavelle Neal. So he put this out on April Fool's. And now Lavelle doesn't strike me as an April Fool's kind of guy, but it's like they put a pontoon in right field. Now, if this is fake, had to do a lot of Photoshop work. But it looks good. It's got those captain's chairs, got the pontoon bench seat. It got the pontoon drink holders as well. Love to see that. There's nothing more Minnesotan summer than pontoon and baseball. You remember when we played baseball inside in the Metrodome? What a waste. It's nice for like 2 seconds here in the great state of Minnesota. How dare you play baseball indoors on turf? But I digress. Shouldn't complain. We won 2 World Series there. So there you go. But apparently the pontoon is real. Had to do some research. So they put this up in the in right field as you come in from the gate. So cool. What this used to be? This used to be just like bleachers and open area. Yeah. But anyways, pontoon. There you go. But that is it. That is it for this beautiful Tuesday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Have yourself a wonderful day. Skol, production value.